Another protest against foreigners in South Africa has left at least 3 persons injured, according to local media. This amateur footage of armed men demanding the foreigners leave the country was posted on the Twitter handle of the Sowetan Live. The demonstrators marched on the streets with weapons and chanted foreigners must go back to where they came from. They met with the traditional prime minister of the Zulu tribe, who tried to dissuade them, but many walked out on him and there was a clash which left at least 3 persons injured.
I wanted to talk about the average Nigerian, especially in the wake of this xenophobic attacks in South Africa, and the fact that average Nigerians are, from what I have seen, always curious about other cultures. So if you meet someone who's Togolese or who's Ghanaian or Senegalese or Ethiopian, you want to know more about their culture, about their country. But it doesn't seem like a lot of other African countries. Now, some other African countries are also like us. They're curious about people. Yeah. But many other African countries, I think especially those who face maybe a little bit of oppression, don't like foreigners.
True.
I don't know what
I've
the
made
main
that
thing is.
observation myself.
But if you met someone from Niger or Benin or Cameroon, you're just curious. That, okay, so tell me more about your country. Yeah. That's usually the first reaction. So I'm always very surprised when I'm hearing the stories coming out of South Africa.
But you know, the weird thing is these stories have been coming out for years. People have been experiencing this tension for many years, but they've just been holding it in, keeping it to themselves. As far back as 2008, 2009, even just visiting, you would feel the tension. I know a group of models there in a modeling agency who used to literally tell me, don't talk to the South African models, they don't like you. And I'm like, I don't understand. I just want to ask, about foods, how I can taste their foods, how I can, They said, no, don't talk to them, or they don't like you. And I just used to wonder why. And they couldn't tell me why. So it's like, there's no actual reason. It just feels like there's something, I don't know. I don't know whether it's the way we're perceived, maybe we're too outgoing, maybe we're too energetic.
Their own experience. Because I was talking about, for instance, the Nigerian experience, we're people of our own. So a lot of Nigerians are entrepreneurs. So we just feel everything is an opportunity. That's what I believe. I don't know what you guys think.
What many of them claim is that many Nigerians who come to their countries usually engage in nefarious activities, and that is why they don't like them. However, with the advent of the internet, we got to discover that there were some other in-depth things. Say, for example, Nigeria has always been called the giant of Africa. So when you come from the giants of Africa, the females of that area usually flock around the giants. And it's caused a lot of tension in the sense that you see an average Nigerian man, now I'm using this, an average Nigerian man is responsible, he stands up for his woman, he does things that their locals allegedly don't do. And so you see a lot of females flocking there, wanting to settle down, even, moving on from preferring them. And it also applies also for the female. You find out that so many of their men are also like, okay, this lady is entrepreneur. She has the entrepreneurial spirit. She's this, she's that. So it became a case of you're stealing our potential spouses from us. That's one. Then 2, the idea of business. In Nigeria, we're very welcoming. In fact, we prefer foreigners coming in. There's that. I could never understand why, but that mentality exists where we are more welcoming even to foreigners. The environment seems more friendly for foreigners than even our own people. So it's not been a problem for us. But over there, they feel like the foreigners have taken over. But the problem is this. 85% of these businesses they are talking about are not even owned by Africans. They are owned by Caucasians. Which is a problem. And then you're blaming the Africans that are still managing the 12%, of which maybe your people only have 3%. And so it's wonky.
I heard that most of the black doctors in South Africa are not South Africans.
Yes.
Because a lot of the young people in South Africa don't really have good education.
There's one word.
Yeah, Michael's going to say
the thing is that, so we had a time when we had Ghana Must Go, if you remember.
Yeah.
So there are times when no matter where you are, it's the same thing Trump has even been pushing, as big as the US is. Bring jobs back to the US, let's get the US.
Yeah.
Everybody feels like, okay, so because I'm a native or this is my locale, I should have preferential treatment when it comes to jobs, and it does happen. So we've had our own case where we
But
chase
Ghana must go
people
was
and all of that,
retaliatory, though.
you know.
Ghana started it. Ghana did it to Nigeria first. Ghana asked Nigerians to leave, deported some of us, and Nigeria retaliated. Like when, in fact, Ghana must have forgotten. It happened like almost 15 years later when the Ghana must go thing came about.
But
so it was actually retaliatory.
Was
So the
Ghana
thing-
must
what I
go
was trying to say,
violent?
Ghana
so the
must go was not violent.
The point is that
Neither.
at one point or the other, where this is one country whereby if you look at it by numbers, we do own a lot of what we have here.
Yeah.
Maybe at the top we might have some people, but this is one country where we do own quite a lot.
Yeah.
Now, generally, I would say this is a wake-up call for us. There's something Davido put out there, and he said, if, say, Nigeria don't dey, he used pidgin English, as he supposed they, waiting we go dey fine for
Oh,
South.
please, I don't buy that.
Okay,
Everybody
so
everybody
people-
goes
let
around
me get
the
done, let me
world.
get done,
Migration is normal.
Let me get done.
I
Yes.
feel like
Mike is about to, he was trying to say something.
So, you see, the point is, wake-up call for us. We need to get our acts in place. A lot of people that are living, when you go and look at the rate at which people live here, it's like they're running away from a prison.
Yeah, yeah.
Go and look at the migrants, Libya and all of that, a very large percentage are Nigerians, you understand? So wake-up call for us. On the South African side, this morning also there's a report, of course, that when it comes to partner-on-partner genocide, South Africa is number one. A lady is killed every 6 hours by her partner in South Africa.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
You understand?
and in very nasty ways.
When we go there, you know, when you go somewhere, your first thing, like you said, when you went to South Africa, you wanted to be nice and meet people. It's expected that when you go to somewhere, you don't come there with airs.
Yeah.
You come and try to be nice. So we are nice people. We take care of the girls better.
Yeah.
You understand? And then when we do that, and then the girls want to go for us.
Take care of the girls.
And then you see
Michael.
you see the South Africans, they want
when I
to.
asked a lady to describe an
think it's
average
weird,
South
yeah.
African man, and the South African lady said the word entitled. And that has come from years and years.
And that's why many South African
Um,
women prefer to be single mothers.
Actually, very. I've met
can't come and kill
Rwandans. I've met a couple of people from some other African countries. Rwandans are amazing people. Like, they want to know about your culture. Teach me the language. That's what I
You know
feel
what?
Africa should be like.
Let's
You
not
understand?
start
One day we will get there.
Yes,
One day
we
will
should just
get
keep
there.
being great Nigerians that we are known for.